Hey folks, today we are going to build two application lives, my personal blog and a Duolingo clone, and we are going to use the latest vibe coding tool Emergent, which just launched in June this year and hit 10 million ARR in just 2 months, which is just absolutely insane. And there are more than 900,000 plus applications that have been built already. Vibe coding is really powerful, and it removes the technical barrier required for anyone to build a product, an application, or a website. But don't get me wrong, you still need to know what you need to build, you still need to have problem solving and structural thinking skills. And we will follow a framework that I have created for myself, which you can use for yourself. And we'll also talk about why a lot of vibe coding projects fail because of bugs, error, design efficiencies, and basically a lack of planning and following a very unstructured and chaotic way. Hey folks, my name is Vaibhavkejriwal, and recently I've been experimenting a lot with vibe coding, no coding, and AI automation tools. And the results have been absolutely amazing, and it has made me a lot more efficient. And I'm here to share my learnings with all of you, how I think about these tools, how I use them, and hopefully you can take a thing or two from my playbook. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, drop a like, and share it with a friend who's working on a similar project. So, without further ado, let's look at the agenda and what we'll cover today. So, we'll talk about the tools we are using. I'll then talk about some of the vibe coding principles and framework that I have found useful. I'll then build my personal blog and then deploy it live, and then I'll build a Duolingo clone. Let's start with the tools used. So we will use Emergent as our vibe coding platform. We'll use ChatGPT to craft prompts for Emergent and do our planning. And you can use any other LLM, maybe Google Gemini or Claude or anything of your choice. And we will use Hostinger to deploy my personal blog on the domain of my choice, but that's totally optional. You can actually get a custom domain from Emergent as well. Some of the vibe coding principles that I found very useful. The first is defining the requirements very clearly. And think of them like engineer. They know how to build a product, but they don't know what to build. So you need to tell them very clearly this is what you need to build. Or else if they do guesswork, then the output will be random. And then you don't want to overload them. You want to basically develop features incrementally. You don't want to give an entire 100 feature playbook at the start. That almost always fails, irrespective of whether you are doing vibe coding or a human is coding it by themselves. So you want to do incremental feature development, and then testing has to be extremely extensive. So basically, since there is no QA or testing team separately, you need to make sure you test it very properly, and then you need to phase out your deployment and plan it. So you can't deploy all the features in one go. You need to put few features, 3 to 5 features in one go, see how it is working in the production environment, and then come back and then iterate again. I want to talk about my vibe coding framework, and maybe you guys can take a thing or two from this and implement it in your own playbook. So there are three phases that I go through. First is requirement definition, feature development, and then deployment and user feedback. Now let's take the example of my personal blog and website. Once I got the idea, I then defined the requirements. What are the different features I need? Link is to social media, my resume, blogs, or just a contact form. Whatever my requirements are, I define it. And let's say I've got 15 pieces of requirements or 15 features. Then I do a phase and sprint planning in which I decide how many of each go in which sprint. And then I take the first sprint and then ask the vibe coding tool to do the feature development. And that starts my phase 2. Once the platform or the vibe coder does its own testing and fixes the bug, then I do my testing, which is the developer testing. And generally, I will have some or the other feedback. I'll ask it to incorporate the feedback and I'll do my developer testing again. And I'll continue until I'm satisfied. Once everything looks good to me, I move on to the next phase, which is deployment and user feedback. There, I ask it to deploy the application and then let it run. I await user feedback. If there is any feature improvement or bug fixes quickly that I need to do, then I basically do it very quickly and ask the user to get more feedback. And if everything is positive, I go on to the next sprint and then take my earlier list and the user feedback, combine it, create an updated framework, and then do it. So this is the vibe coding framework I have created and it works very well for me. Maybe this can help you guys out as well. Now let's start building my personal website. So basically I've created a project in ChatGPT and I've given it instructions, And these instructions are basically how you should create the prompt, what you should include and what you should not include. And this is based on Emergent's own guide to prompting that they had released. I've just taken it, made it a bit more concise, added few things that I felt were missing, and then crafted my own prompting guidelines. And don't worry, if you want my updated prompting or instruction source, it will be put in as a blog on my own website, so you can get it from there, and I'll put the link in description. And as you can see, I'm using project features in ChatGPT where I'm giving it instructions from here and I'm editing those instructions. And it's a paid feature. And if you have the free version, don't worry, you can put this as part of the prompt as well. It works really, really well. Now let's start the requirement definition and planning phase, and let me write a prompt for it. I've given a very basic prompt: help me build a website, clearly define the requirements for Emergent, and help me write a prompt for it and ask me as questions as you want. And let us see what ChatGPT has to give us. Now, as you see, it's given me what it's doing, a quick summary of what it's delivering, what are the assumptions, I can look at those, product requirements that I have kept, and then some functional specs, non functional requirement, required tech stack, deliverables, system, everything in detail. And then it has given me the copy paste prompt that I can just copy it from here as well. And then towards the end, there are some refinement questions. I can answer any of them right now or later and not required to start. And next steps, I can just paste the emergent prompt if it is as is, or I can just refine these. So let me just refine some of these and get back. So my prompt is ready and I asked it to put it in a code editor, so I can just copy it with one go. Let me just run this through Emergent and see what it does. So firstly, I think it is going to set up the safe environment. Let me come back once it's done. So it has set up the production environment, and then let me just click on preview to get what it is doing, and then come back and see what is happening. So basically it is asking me a question and I need to answer it to continue further. So let me just do it and come back. It had some questions, I answered those basis my own preferences, and then I'm going to give it a go again. Now, once it receives the answer, it will start processing the next steps, and as you can see, we can see the previews that are going to come here. So let me just come back once it has come to the next step. Now it has completed the front end features. It has given me the list of features delivered, the design details, and the mock functionality summary. And it is asking me to test the front end carefully, and it's asking me to please test the preview on my side as well. So let us just check the preview section. So you come here, click on the top right in the preview section, and then I can see the website that they have. I think the text is not something which is right, and the positioning may be something which is difficult, but I think this is fine. Let us check a few buttons. So get in touch opens this, which is good. Name, email, subject, message. Then contact info is there, location is there. Again, it has put in placeholders, so I'll need to add in those things. Let me just change this theme. Oh, that is really cool. Theme is also there. And then home. Okay. About. Yes, I need to put in the profile photo and put in all these things as well. I'll need to change the text a lot. Blog is also great. It has again put some demo information, and then lastly contact form is also there. So I think this is going really well for now. Let me just give it a prompt and then ask it to change all these things, give it the details, and come back in some time. This is the first iteration it did. I've given it my photos, my feedback, my social links, and then my first blog that it's going to post there. And this first blog is going to be the prompting guidelines that I have developed basis Emergent's prompting guidelines that I have used in my ChatGPT as system instructions. So you can get it from there. And it is now running. Let us wait for some time and let's see how it's going. And I'll come back once it's done. I think there are a lot of things it has to do. So let me just come back once it's done. So it has made the changes, and I think these should be fine. I think there will be not many differences because most of them were changing the text or the content. But let me just preview it and let's just see what it's done. Actually, let me just open it in a new tab. So I like the picture. It has not changed this as well. That's okay. I think I need to ask it to change it again. What I do, AI content, no code automation, content creation. It has repeated this again. Let me just change this. Let's connect this fine. Let me just see the about section. Yes, I think that's really cool what it has written. Yes, and then the blog, which is there, it's a 12-minute read also. I need to change the date. I can see it's working, whatever I had given, it is coming out. Font is not the best, but I think that's okay. I will just ask it to change. And then in the contact form, it has given me all of this. Okay, YouTube channel, LinkedIn, that is really good. Send message, and I think that should work fine. Now let me just toggle the light mode on. Okay, that looks good as well. Yes, all of this looks really good. Yes, now let's do another piece of testing. So now this has been tested for my laptop. Now I want to see how it will behave in different screen sizes. So what I'm going to do is right click and then click on inspect. So I'm not going to look at the code, but what I can do is change the width from here and see how it will be there in different sizes. So it's basically checking the reactive nature of this website. I think this is more like laptop or a iPad kind of configuration, and when you make it this small, I think this becomes a phone kind of configuration, which looks right. I don't think there is any problem with that. I think changing this is also fine. Okay, about me section is also fine. I think let's just see how it's interacting. You see, yes, this is good. And then let's see how it happens here. You see, as the size increases, it becomes a horizontal versus a vertical layout. So yes, I think that's what you wanted, and you can see this here very clearly in the interest and focus areas. Yes, that's what we wanted. I think that's good. Blog is also fine. I will ask it to extend it to one vertical section, and then contact form is also fine. Okay, so let me just go back, give it my feedback, and then come back with the updated changes. The agent has now passed the front end testing, and it has given me comprehensive deployment steps that I will need to deploy my application effectively, and it is giving me all these steps. I think it got confused. I wanted it to deploy and just use my custom domain. So let me just fix that and actually deploy it and come back. After some back and forth, the website is finally done. It has all the features we wanted. It has dark and light mode, home section, about section, blog section, and my contact section. So I think this is really good. Now let's get into a second use case, which is basically creating a clone of Duolingo. Now we are going to create a clone of Duolingo, and I have not added anything else because I think it has already these cloning functionalities, and as you can see, you can clone Spotify as well. So let us just create a clone of Duolingo, and let's not write a big prompt, and let's see what it gets us. Now it is again setting up the environment. Let me go through this setup. Let's see what it creates, and then I'll get back to you guys in a quick moment. So it has created a first version of a Duolingo clone with core gamification features, and now we can test it out, and let's just look at the preview section. I'll click on get started, create a profile, and then we'll do the testing. Now that I've logged in, I can see I have the levels. I have basics to phrases, present tense, animals. There is a gaming streak, there is a total XP, there is a league as well. And then on the top, there is a leaderboard. I can see this week, last week, friends, and then I have league information. Promotion zone, top 10 players advance to Diamond League, and demotion for silver for the bottom 5. Then let's go to quests. Okay, that is not working, so we'll add that as feedback. Let me just open the preview section again. Then let's go to shop. Okay, we have all these shops. We can create and buy things. Let's go to profile. It is really good, very detailed, and this is just with the first prompt, so that's really amazing. So I think it needs some bit of refinement, but it's really good in the first version. And similar to this, I think you can create your own websites, and you can create anything you want. Just imagine one prompt can give you a clone of Duolingo in like 10 minutes. Imagine what you can do if you have a defined requirement and you use this vibe coding tools. Now, there are definitely a lot of improvement opportunities. You need to make sure that your prompt is really clearly defined and work on the content of the application or the website before trying to build the web app. While I was trying to build my own personal website, I was not sure on the content, and that's why it took a longer time and lot of rework. If I was sure of that, then it would have been much easier. And that you can see in Duolingo. It just looked at Duolingo, cloned it, and then it was sure of the content. And that's what we need to do as well when we are creating any new application. Just to be clear, it doesn't mean that you can create anything that you want very quickly in minutes. You will still have to plan these things. Think of it, what you need to create, and have to be very good at creating the content. It just helps you remove the technical barrier. And know this is the worst it can be at any point in time. It is only going to get better. So if you have an idea, go to app.emergent.sh, build it, deploy it, and let me know in the comments. If you like more of this content, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with a friend who's working on a new idea. Thank you for watching. Have a good day and see you guys in the next video.